Food supply chain risks continue to become more complex each year, and managing those risks is dependent on knowing and understanding what they are. I am your TAG Talks host, Lisa Lupo, and today I'm talking with Liliana Casal-Warde, TAG's Executive Senior Director of Food Safety and Supply Chain Risk Management, on managing your supply chain risk. Good afternoon, Liliana.
Good afternoon, Lisa. Nice to talk to you, and what a great topic.
Oh, yes, it's always an interesting one. Yes. So if knowing the potential risks in your supply chain is so important, how does a food business determine what its risks are?
That's a great question. Let me first highlight that as part of FSMA, managing the supplier risk are part of the preventive controls that FSMA expects you to manage to guarantee that the final product is going to be safe for the consumers and not cause any risks. So the importance of having a supplier control program really is to understand what you're bringing to your manufacturing site or to your retail stores to prepare your sandwiches or to manufacture your product, and see what risks really those ingredients or packaging materials are going to bring to your own manufacturing site. The risks that you're going to be managing are the same that you manage at your own production site or retail site. So they're going to be physical, chemical, biological risk, risk of foreign material, risk of microbial contamination, chemical risks such as allergens or sensitizing solutions or chemicals, and radiological risks, pesticides, heavy metals. So all those risks are the ones that you're going to be managing. And on top of that, you're going to be looking at the risks of fraud, substitution, adulteration for economically motivated reasons. And you're going to prepare a supplier control program that really is going to be a comprehensive approach for each supplier of what you want to see on how they're managing those risks before they bring those ingredients to your site. The expectation is that that program has a food safety assessment of those risks, what the hazards are, and how the supplier is managing those. If they're delivering an ingredient that has gone through a kill step for you, having a validation step, if they are delivering ingredients that are recognized for geographical inherent risk or heavy metal inherent risk, what does the supplier do to handle those risks? If there is a risk of allergens, that is highlighted, and if they're and they really are open in how they are processing their ingredients to see if they're processing it with allergens, with recognized allergens, or have other sensitizing solutions, if they're using any additives in the quantities that are allowed by regulatory requirements, so that you have a full scope of understanding of what risks you're bringing to the site and incorporate those to your hazard analysis. So it really protects you at the front end of your process, and it really protects the finished product with a good, knowledgeable assessment.
So knowing what these hazards are, having done that hazard analysis and having discovered what a lot of the risks are in your supply chain, what then can the food business do? What are some key elements that they can incorporate to manage and mitigate those risks?
That's a great question as well. I mean, once you understand your risks, when you have an established supply chain model for sourcing your ingredients and packaging materials, you can have different tools incorporated to your program, such as inspections upon receiving, certificates of analysis, adequate specifications that you create and that the supplier provides to you to align on what risks they're managing and what expectations you have on your own specifications. And you can also look at performance of these suppliers through trends of performance, trends of compliance, trends of delivery and quality and food safety of products. And you can use tools to help yourself. They can be, from an Excel spreadsheet to digital tools that can help you track trends of performance in different ways, with you having the knowledge of the level of risk, that the level of inherent risk that the ingredient has, the level of risk that the supplier has based on GFSI audits, based on previous recalls, based on withdrawals of product or near misses that they have. You can establish scorecards and track those trends of performance and understand which are those suppliers that require more support and more attention, and which are those that are really considered predominant suppliers in your supply chain because they're trusting and they are consistent in what they deliver. The other very important thing is you work with your procurement team and train your procurement team to make sure that they are aware of the risks, they understand the risk, and they source accordingly, okay? So that not only they're looking at cost and pricing of ingredients, they're looking at compliance with food safety standards, compliance with regulatory standards, both in the country of origin and also compliance on the country where you're going to be receiving that ingredient and selling your product. And all that can be aligned through communication, but using your buyers as the first line of defense for them to understand the importance of knowledgeable sourcing is a great step for a good supply chain control plan. Okay.
Okay. That's great. That's some really great tips there, Liliana. We appreciate your insights on this. Before we go, though, what would you say, given the importance of knowing and managing and mitigating the risks in your supply chain, what would be kind of the one primary takeaway that you would want food businesses to remember, to know, to do when they're looking at their supply chain to mitigate risk?
Great, thanks for asking that. I think the key takeaway from this is do your homework ahead and understand what is inherent risk, geographical risk of what you want to source, history of performance of the suppliers that you want to use, and keep in mind that when you design a product, you look at the risks of the ingredients that you're going to bring from the first step, from the design of the product. Because discovering those once you have that product ready to launch is really not helpful, because then you're playing catch. So a good preventive plan understands the risk from the design on, and a good preventive plan understands the risk not only of ingredients, but also of packaging materials, of additives, so that when you build really with a comprehensive approach. And the other important key takeaway is that this is not a one-person job. This is not a food safety and quality job. This is a job for a team with different roles, different people from the organization have to be involved from the very beginning. And I already named procurement, I named product development. I also would like to include logistics, because transportation is a key driver for quality of ingredients and packaging materials. Your packaging team, your quality and food safety team, and the plants that are going to be involved in manufacturing that. For retail stores, more or less the same model, always procurement a key driver. And also, if you have any central kitchens, those central kitchens involved. Product development, the design of the product involved from the beginning to understand the risk. And the other important thing to consider is, don't forget that traceability is a requirement. Incorporate those components in your supplier model as well, so that you really cover all the aspects that could be sources of risk in your supplier control program.
All right. Thank you again, Liliana. So we hope that this session of Tag Talks has provided our audience with practical insights on supply chain risk management, and know that you can call on Liliana or any of the TAG team at any time for more information or assistance on supply chain risk management. And be sure to click subscribe to stay up to date on all things food safety and public health from TAG experts. Thank you.
Thank you.